Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And welcome, welcome to the Infinite Way, where spirituality meets humanity. And I have with me this evening in New Zealand, but this morning here in Africa, a beautiful, beautiful light worker, a beautiful soul, Kathleen Nora. Kathleen Nora is a bioresonance frequency healer and an apprentice of the universe whose mission is to revolutionize healthcare with her unique modality of energy medicine infused with astrology, intuition, nutrition, and shamanic and esoteric hypnotherapy. She loves supporting healers, lightworkers, and Mamabears to fill up their cups, alchemize shadows into gold, and raise their vibration in order to fulfill their highest soul potential of prosperity, passion, and purpose. Kathleen Nora believes that when we are nourished, aligned, and anchored in our 3D body and temples, we will be illuminating lighthouses who inspire all awakening beings to raise collective consciousness and build our beautiful new world together. I welcome Kathleen Nora. Welcome, Kathleen.
Thank you so much. Just to hear you speak my bio, bring it to life, feels like gold dust. So thank you so much for that introduction, and yeah, with reverence and honor that I'm here with you today.
It's so wonderful to have you here. I'm so excited for you to be here. And what I would love you to do is share with us a little bit about your story. Tell us how you walked the path to spirituality, how it all started for you within your life.
Thank you. I would love to share. It's been a big journey that really began for me in the year 2012 with the birth of my daughter. This was also the year of my Saturn return. I had been traveling for 10 years previously to then, and then suddenly I became a single mom, 8 months pregnant, and I realized I couldn't go traveling externally anymore. I really needed to start looking into, go traveling in the other realms and see what was available to me. So this is when I embarked on my diploma of nutritional science, studying part-time as a single mama, and which I loved because I've always been a foodie. I love food. And so when my dear friends were like, okay, you got to do something now. You find something and do something for you to help you grow. Find what lights you up. And so like they helped me to find nutrition. So I've always loved food, but I've always been drawn to more. I love indulgence, but I'm a child of Papatūānuku, as we are, Pachamama, Whamagaya, but I really love colours and going out in the garden and foraging of edible flowers. So nutrition was perfect for me. So I started my diploma in nutritional science, which I loved, but through a little twist and turn along the way, I was introduced to the Etiscan. And so the Etiscan is technology that's based on the principles of bioresonance. So what we do through the Etiscan, which is a little box that has a little magic box. I'm also going to talk about bioresonance, just to preface this, from my Mercury and Pisces communication, which is through a more metaphorical language as opposed to the sciencey side, which I have done a lot of learning with over the years, but it's not my forte. I'd rather speak to bioresonance through the metaphorical language, if that's okay. Sure. So what bioresonance does is it reads the energy, the information within your energy field. And so we all have this biofield that surrounds us. And I love to liken this field to a cloak. Like imagine your favorite piece of fabric. For me, I love envisaging my biofield. It's like this silk kimono, right? So we have this, also known as an aura. And in Latin, aura, don't quote me, but I know it's related to breeze. So we have this beautiful flowing cloak. It's like a breeze that surrounds us. And what happens through life experiences, through modern day, through pollutants, toxins, is that we can get tears here and there within our beautiful cloak. And so what we do through the Etiscan, my magic box, is we work with, it's like I'm a seamstress. Although no, I can't so just say myself. But we start to repair these tears in the field through sending therapeutic frequencies. And so within this magic box, we have frequencies of nutrition, minerals, homeopathy, flower essences. We can work within the 3D and the 5D. So we're working on a physical level with the cells and the DNA, or we're working with your emotions and maybe different archetypes. So yeah, as you can see, when I can speak a language that I can use analogies, this is what lights me up. But there is a lot of science around how the Etiscan works. It's based on quantum physics, quantum entanglement. It's science standing on the shoulders of Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, and Dr. Reich, Dr. Vol, But for me personally, I love explaining it. It's something that I feel comfortable in a way that feels comfortable to me.
And I asked you this question because when we're talking to our audience, right, it's an education for them to understand that where science meets spirituality or metaphysics, right, that we're able to look at that subtle body field and really understand what's taking place in terms of the flow. And the fact that we're energy beings, and what you bring to the table is so important, because what happens is that even when we're looking at our physicality, we're looking at one little piece of it and not the totality of it. So, and I loved what you said in terms of the fact that when you referred to nutrition, you went to edible flowers and you went immediately to nature, and not, we tend to eat processed food, and really our energy beings are what we eat. And so if you're eating poorly and the flow of the energy can be detected by your bioresonance, that's phenomenal, because then you know what to correct, and you know how to correct it through food, through all of the iterations that you were talking about with the science behind it. We don't have to go deep into the science, but that's a beautiful, beautiful place to be in terms of healing, because you're really healing the totality of the physicality, versus just a little piece of it. So, wow, that's phenomenal. And what I would love to know is that then you introduce other aspects. You talked about a little bit of shamanism, which I'm a shaman, so fellow shaman. And I love the analogy of the lighthouse, because that's the beacon of light that we are no matter where we stand in the world, right? Talk to us a little bit about the shamanistic viewpoint that you take, because there are all types of shamans, right? I'm a earth keeper, right? So I work with the earth, and I basically predominantly work with the natures of earth, with stones and with crystals and things like that, because I'm an earth keeper, and my lineage goes with the Quiros Indians of Peru, okay, and as well as the Ojibwe Nation in northern Canada. Okay, and that's on the east coast, eastern part of Canada, not the west. And so when I think of the Ojibwe, when I think of the Quiros Indians, Peru, and I carry my mesa, and I have my stones that are initiated, and I work with them. But I've met shamans who work with fire. I met shamans who work with, water. I've met shamans who work with air, and that would be smoke and the peace pipe. Okay, so every modality has, and with the Ojibwe, I bring into my drumming. You know, the drumming is very, very
Mm.
powerful medicine for me. So you are on Eratoa, Kiora.
Mm.
And, you know, I've had the great pleasure of meeting the Waiataha and working with the Waiataha a little bit. So tell us a little bit about your approach to shamanism.
Firstly, so I'm not a shaman, and I would never um, claim to be one without all of the initiations. But what the modality that I'm trained in is shamanic esoteric hypnotherapy. So,
Ah, am I
shamanic
correct?
esoteric hypnotherapy is based on the ancient teachings of, and the teachings of ancient Egypt and the
Okay.
lineage of the House of the Bee healing temples. And so, what we do with esoteric hypnotherapy is that we work with soul and spirit, because originally in hypnotherapy, the soul and spirit were involved, and then in modern day hypnotherapy, kind of it became about the subconscious mind. So what we do with esoteric hypnotherapy is we work directly with your soul and spirit to get to the root cause, or deep healing, any deep healing. But where the shamanic esoteric hypnotherapy comes in is where the training that I've just done, actually, which is working with children and adolescents with shamanic esoteric hypnotherapy, and adults as well. So we can connect you through a journey where your soul leads the way. So we can connect you to your power animal, your soul guardian, and your spirit teacher and ally. So the Holy Trinity, triangle of light. So that's where the shamanic esoteric hypnotherapy comes in. But also we just you been in Aotearoa and been traveling and been immersed in Te Ao Māori, which is a world worldview lens of our beautiful Indigenous people of Aotearoa. Um, it's very much, as all Indigenous cultures in the world, very much nature based. And so when we go to the Ngahere, which is a forest, and we're going to for example, take any rongoa, which is Māori medicine from the forest. First, you would, before you even entered the Ngahere, you would ask permission. You would karakia, which is asking for, which is a blessing, incantation. Before you picked any plants, you would ask for permission from the rako. It's all about gratitude and being one and being in reverence with the atua. So I know you've been to our big Kodi tree, Tane
Yeah.
Mahuta, and yeah, so he is our atua, which it's not translated to gods and goddesses, atua, but it's, if you can imagine the essence, Tane Mahuta is our atua of the forest. And then we have Papa Tuanuku, who is our Mother Earth. We have Rangi Nui, who is our Sky Father. Yeah, we have so many atua. So it's when that's the shamanic aspect of being in Aotearoa, is just being in reverence and connection and to every single thing around you. So yeah.
I want to say something because I not only visited New Zealand, but I came back and I just spent a month wandering the North Island completely, right?
Mm.
I just went from place to place to place to place. There is something so magical about New Zealand. Number one,
Mm.
so for those of you who haven't noticed, when Kathleen talks, she talks about the indigenous statements or way of how it's viewed, and then we'll tell you what that meaning is. And I love that so much, that the indigenous language is the language of New Zealand. And that,
Mm.
you know, when we talk about Tani Mahuta, which is your God Goddess tree, your beautiful tree that has been there the longest. It's the oldest tree in New Zealand, and how it is recognized and honored, and how it's honored in the mainstream. It's not just honored by the indigenous, and that the language is honored in the mainstream and not just honored by the indigenous. So it is one of the beautiful and rare places that I've been where everything is honored in the mainstream of how people live, see, and do things every day, life by life. You have the most beautiful beaches I've ever been to. and the Maori aspects of the culture are so ever present in everything. And the other thing too that I notice about Aotearoa is that when you are in nature there, you feel the vibration of the land. Like you're lifted, you're automatically lifted so high that I didn't want to get on a plane. I didn't want to leave. I was just like, I love this feeling. It's like a high. Am I crazy, or do people notice that about Aotearoa?
Yes, absolutely. We are special, such a special country, and Lemuria, one of our ancient civilizations, Aotearoa, New Zealand, Hawaii, and Rapa Nui are three places that are said to be still above water, remnants of Lemuria. So we have that sacred, ancient connection for energy. But I do have to just speak to about the mainstream. There's a lot of diversity in Aotearoa right now within the government, in that a lot of they basically want to go backwards, and they want to override so much progress that has been made within Te Ao Māori and Te Reo, the language as well. So as with every country, there's a little bit going on right now, but as a whole, I'm not Māori. I whakapapa to Ireland and Scotland and France, but I feel so at home, and I hear and been immersed in Te Ao Māori and Te Ao Wairua, which is the spiritual aspects of Te Ao Māori, is like a homecoming for me, and so vibration, it's all to do with vibration. Like you said, you could feel the vibration of a land. The language is a vibrational language. So within the English language, it's a lot harder to find frequency and vibration within words as it is with indigenous languages. Although, Celtic and Gaelic, all of that, they were all vibrational languages. But this is where I find metaphors and analogies so beautiful, because that's how I feel we bring energy and emotion and excitement into the English language.
You make such a great point, but you are a perfect example. So there it is, the diversity, but yet you've embraced the language. And that's what I mean. When I visited, everyone I spoke with had embraced the beauty in the language. And I go the Maori / Waitha because I acknowledge both of those indigenous nations that reside there. And there may be more, please forgive me if I'm missing anyone. But the fact that I could come in as an outsider, and then this is the language I'm surrounded with, which is beautiful, with everyone I met. There wasn't anyone that I met that hadn't embraced the language in the manner by which you express it. And that's what I loved about the beauty of this island, is that everyone had embraced it. And everyone was speaking this frequency of language, and it was beautiful. It really, really was beautiful.
And there's like 4 million people in New Zealand, and I would say the people, the Pākehā, like me, we override that small amount of people who are living in that fearful space, you know, that fearful space. We've got this, you know, because like energy is like a ripple effect. And when you have the atua, like you know, Tane Mahuta of the forest, love will always win. I think that's what I'm trying to say. You know,
Yeah.
I, I'm not someone who lives with rose-colored glasses on. I do see things that are happening, things that are going on, but I have an innate knowing that love will always conquer everything, and that everything that comes is a way for us all to grow and expand together, not taken away the pain or the trauma or the atrocities that are happening, but sending love to that as opposed to fear and anger. Let's send love to that, to those
Yeah.
aspects.
So I want to talk a little bit more about your hypnotherapy. And you talked about being able to help people find their power animals. Talk to us a little bit about now, are you working primarily with youth, adults, a little bit of mix of everyone?
So I've not worked with children yet. This is my training that I've just finished. I have a diploma in esoteric hypnotherapy that I was working with adults, and that's for a different program where we work with the elements. So we work with fire, water, air, earth, and quintessence, and the universal healing energies of joy, love, truth, peace, and gratitude. So that's that component of esoteric hypnotherapy. The shamanic one is my latest one, but I feel everything I've ever done has been leading to this study. So I've only worked with adults so far, but once I have done the next part of my training to be able to work with children and adolescents, my dream is to work with families. So what I'm so passionate about working with children and parents, mum, dad, and siblings in the future is being able to connect the whole family when they can connect with their power animals, their soul guardians, their spiritual teachers and allies. And then you carry on with the soul journal. So through creativity, you find more about your power animal. For example, my power animal is polar bear. I already knew that polar bear was my power animal because I've journeyed in the Dream Arc, which is a beautiful creation by Richard Rudd and Rosie Aronson. And so I've traveled with polar bears, my kin. But when I met polar bear through being a client of esoteric hypnotherapy, and you could become one with polar bear, and I realized she had a cub with her. So I have polar bear and a cub. And so through this connection, then I've been on a further journey of looking, okay, where does polar bear live? Polar bear lives up in the Arctic, and the Inuit name for polar bear is Nanook. And I don't know if I'm saying that right, you know, and I found
I
polar
believe
bear,
you are.
polar bear. Yeah, polar bear, beautiful music. I have a practitioner who I'm doing swaps with. Her power animal is snowy white owl, and the journey that she's been on as well, she's found a waltz and music. So it's, imagine a family being able to all become immersed in the creativity, the getting to know more about and be your soul guardian. I have dragon, and then my spiritual ally and teacher is Isis, and I have a spider. And the spider helps me weave together the threads of my life in order to help co-thread the rest of creation with others, like Indra's net. I see us all as jewels, and we're all weaving this beautiful spider web together. So, and just to end that, my north node in astrology is Cancer. So I feel my destiny is really working towards me. pulling me towards working with children or families, that kind of mother nurturing side of things, because this element has been a journey for me. It hasn't always been so a part of me through having my own children. That's how I learned to parent myself, you know. So it's been a ride, but to help families to all connect in this way, is something that excites me more than anything else in the whole world.
So talk to us a little bit about your astrology and approach to astrology.
Yes, so I'm a Pisces sun, and for most of my life, I just thought I was a Pisces sun, and I didn't really know anything more about it. All I know is that everywhere I've traveled, I've always met Pisces sisters all around the world. I've met Pisces, found all these Pisces sisters. But it was a few years ago, through different astrologers, following Oath Oracle, Deborah Silverman. I studied astrology with Deborah Silverman, and then Jocelyn Starfeather, who I'm a multi-galactic course manager also, with through our different kaupapa, which is a different flavor of what I do.
Yes.
Which I'll talk about later. But yeah, astrology, I consider myself an apprentice of the universe. So I would never call myself an astrologer. But what I do love is just looking at someone's chart and then just seeing it come to life. Like seeing the chart come to life, be it an eagle that flies out or whatever, and just seeing the different gifts, the different uniqueness that comes with every single person on the planet, and knowing that we have this roadmap available to us. I mean, that's just incredible. That we have a blueprint that we can go and look at and go, whoa, that's why. And also just knowing what's coming up, what's happening in the future, just helps us to prepare.
And I actually took a look at astrology. This is a very, very hard topic. This is not easy to understand, that there are X amount of houses, and then when something's rising and or I don't profess to understand completely how to read a chart. It's just, to me, it's amazing. It's amazing that you can do this, because I don't understand it, get it.
Well, the teachers that I have had are phenomenal. Like Deborah Silverman, she teaches you astrology in a structured way, because Saturn, the planet Saturn, who is our father time and our planet of structure and responsibility and achievement and stuff like that. Deborah Silverman has a really amazing method that she can show you astrology, so you learn in a structural way. Jocelyn Starfeather shows you astrology through the goddess. She really brings a divine feminine to life through astrology. And so when I learned that I'm not just a Pisces sun, I'm also an Aries moon and a Taurus rising, and our rising sign is our ascendant, which is where the sun is, which zodiac the sun is rising. And on the moment that we're born, when I realized that I had Aries, it gave me so much permission to be like, whoa, no wonder I'm so fiery. I've always wondered, how can I be a Pisces if I have so much fire and passion that also came out with and anger and stuff when I was young? It's just permission giving to realize that we have these different elements within our chart that make us who we are. We're not just one small component. And then where the Taurus rising comes in, Taurus is ruled by Venus, the planet Venus, and Venus is love and nature and sensuality and food. I'm like, no wonder I love food.
Oh, that's
I'm also
amazing.
born in the Chinese year of the pig, but
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you're talking to a Scorpio, and I know that I am fixed water. So, but that's all I know. I know that I'm fixed water.
Well, Scorpio is actually one of my favorite signs in the whole world. I know you shouldn't have favorites, but I do. I love Scorpio because Scorpios re-archetypes. We all have re-archetypes, but
Okay, I'm
I'm just
listening. I'm
speak
open.
Scorpio.
I'm listening. Yeah.
So Scorpio has a scorpion. Scorpio also has the Phoenix because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and Pluto is a sign of death and rebirth. So Scorpio has that capacity to die and then be reborn and rise from the ashes like no one else can. Scorpio also has the eagle. The eagle is an archetype of Scorpio, and so Scorpio is a sign of deep, like going deep. Like you don't have superficial anything with Scorpio, and I
No, we
love that in
don't.
Scorpio.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah, but Scorpio can also sit with death like no one else can, and hold space for the sick or the. Do you feel that? Like you really able to hold
I
space for
help.
people who are in pain and hurting
Yeah,
or
and I've helped
dying.
people actually cross over. So yes.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, it's beautiful. I have yeah, I only have one planet in Scorpio, but it's Saturn. So
This is amazing. Thank you. Thank you. And I want to talk about your other facet of working with a particular platform for spiritual courses. Will you share a little bit about that?
yes, so I have been studying with Jocelyn Starfeather for many years. I first introduced to her through her courses of ancient Egypt. And Jocelyn has always offered donation-based courses. So I'm in New Zealand. I know you're in Africa and your exchange rate is even lower than New Zealand. So you know what it can be like when we live
Yes.
outside of the US with the exchange rate. So I joined her ancient Egypt course via donation, and it was the greatest activation for me because I'd never been interested in ancient in Egypt before. I'd never traveled there. And then I felt so activated through doing this ancient Egypt course. When the esoteric hypnotherapy came into my field, that's how I got into esoteric hypnotherapy, which has now brought me into being a shamanic esoteric hypnotherapist, was through this donation-based course that I came into. So eventually I got in, came up with Jocelyn through donation based, and then I was able to spend more money in recent years studying astrology. And then last year, she put out a call within a mentorship program that I was in, Radical New World, that she was looking for a course manager to come on board and help her with bring in this vision that she's always held of having a donation-based course platform that connects teachers all around the world, visionary teachers, creators, all around the world with people, no matter how much they have to spend, because it's like no one in this new world that we're building, no one should be left behind if they feel cool to learn and evolve with us. So I was very shy, but I thought, okay, what have I got to lose? Plus, my guides were saying, do it. And I was like, but I don't have any marketing skills or anything like that. I was like, okay, I'm going to apply. So I put myself on Zoom like we're doing, and I just did a 4-minute spiel of why I would be perfect for this job. And lo and behold, myself and my two dear sisters, Anselin, who's in Mexico, and Army, who is in Germany, Jocelyn brought us together. And so we've recently launched this course platform called Academy of the Wild Soul, a global school for quantum evolution, completely donation based. And yes, so we've had our first course launch. We're interviewing, we have lots more teachers coming on board, including you, which I'm so honored and excited about. So yeah, this is just another element of what I do, but the way it's really influenced my own business, and I'm in a rebirth at the moment, because like we're building, I'm thinking of a new world economics, like this new way of economics of being. So I'm just in the middle of a process of finding out how I can build this donation based into my own business where the energy exchange is still reciprocated in there. So yeah, but it's definitely something that I feel as a collective, we're going to bring it in together, this new economics world.
I love it. I absolutely love it, because there are those that can and there are those that can't. And why should anyone be shut out? Why should anyone not be able to grow and work and contribute based on the knowledge that they want to seek, because of finances, and finances dictate so much. And it's so nice to see a platform where someone can learn and grow, and it's not dictated by how much you have, you know. So, oh my goodness, I think that this is so, so important. My hat's off to you for being a part of something so tremendous. And I agree, because when we learn to share what we have, then we can just reduce the fact that people have this need to take what they don't, just take what they want versus just contributing to a whole. I've been in certain indigenous cultures where I go into a tribe, and everybody's not eating. And then when one person gets food, it's not that they go and they hide and they eat. What they do is they call the whole tribe in, and then they share what they've received, and everybody receives. And as a culture, we've forgotten that, and it's more predatory. So it's so beautiful to be able to see something that is shared and that everyone can participate in. And so my hat's off to you. I honor you for that, as the light worker that you are.
And I love that you bring that in about indigenous, is because we've forgotten, you said that we've forgotten that. Well, it's inside all of us. It's just
Yeah.
a remembering process as we shared these layers, and we all come back to the same realization that we're all indigenous wisdom keepers and guardians of our beautiful earth, who is going to be here regardless if we are or not, because she is perfectly capable of taking care of herself, but she's just busy being patient with us at the moment. And I love the term, I can't remember who said it, but I love it. We are the microbiome of Pachamama, of Mama Earth. So it's up to us to balance our good, let's be the good gut bacteria who just, there's no such thing as bad bacteria, but it's about bringing us all into balance, like our guts. It's a microcosm and the macrocosm.
Yes, yes. So, oh my goodness, we're coming up on an hour. I can't believe we've been talking. I could talk to you all day long. So, where can people seek you out? What is the wisdom that you want to leave with our listeners before we end? What would you like to share with them?
I would just love to share that, just going back to nutrition where it kind of all began, I completely stepped away from meal plans and stuff like that because it just was not resonating to do that anymore. And what I really advocate for is intuition nutrition, which is where you know best. So that's a wisdom I would love to end with, is that let's get back to trusting ourselves with decisions. I'm all about the energy, the intention, the gratitude around food. So those are just wisdoms I'd love to leave, is like we can look externally to ourselves for nutritionists or dietitians or doctors or people who have a lot of wonderful knowledge and experience, but ultimately no one knows best for what's good for you than yourself. So I just love to leave that intuition, nutrition, like let's get back to listening to our bodies rather than let's reclaim the power that we have.
Yes, yes. And I love what you said when you talked about that earlier, and that I wanted to comment too, and I forgot about it at the time. Something you said that resonated with me, which is that we ask permission before we take. So if you're into the nutrition and you're into growing your own food and you're into taking from nature, that has been the way with all indigenous cultures. That is something common across the board that I've always learned from, is that we don't take out of entitlement, but we ask permission to the plant before we take it, because the plant is giving its life to us. And that even if we grow just a point of gratitude statement, like in how I was taught in the indigenous way by the Ojibwe, is we leave tobacco. We give back that which we would take out. So when we're going to ask the plant permission and we're going to take from the plant, we leave a gift of tobacco to say thank you. You know, on the Western culture of the US, it's cornmeal. You leave cornmeal, but you leave something that of yourself to say thank you and to show that gratitude. And what I'm finding across the board is that that is one of the most important lessons, you know, because we have this sense of entitlement that we need to release. And we need to just come into our heart space and basically say, you know, ask permission, say thank you, and share. These are basic things. These are basics.
And they
So
benefit us, because
yes,
the more energy and gratitude that we put in, the more energy we receive into our bodies to nourish and bathe ourselves. It's like this reciprocation. So we're actually benefiting us in a selfish way when we are in reverence and gratitude for what we put in our body.
so I had to fit that little tidbit in before we close, but how can people reach you? How can they reach you, and what would you share that your practices are that they're reaching you for?
So the best place to reach me at the moment is my Instagram or email, because my website is under construction. Should be up and going shortly. And yes, I have bioresonance consultations available. I have soon I will have my family packages. I have my beautiful families who I've lined up so I can practice and become the very best practitioner I can be. But then my dream is to work with families. But yeah, to connect with me one-on-one, bioresonance and astrology consultations, and I can also intertwine the two to weave the two together into a consultation.
Thank you so much. And I will grab that Instagram from you and the email, and I will make sure that it is in the description box of the podcast so that you can reach out to Kathleen, or you can reach out to me, Dr. Anolia Fodi, and I'll be happy to connect you with Kathleen. I just want to say a heartfelt thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing. And it's so wonderful to have you here.
Just truly feel just, yeah, I just bask in your divine energy. You just really light me up. I feel ignited and safe with you. So it's such an honor to, yeah, be here and for the invitation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathleen. So that's it. This has been another episode of The Infinite Way, where spirituality meets humanity. And if you like what you saw, we would ask you to like us, subscribe to us, share the information and bless somebody else with the wisdom that you just heard. And please stay tuned for another episode coming soon. And I want to say, have a beautiful, blessed day and take care. Bye-bye.